Hey guys, James Dymond here, and in this tech tip video, I'm going to be showing you how you can create your own atmosphere. Now, what do I mean by atmosphere? I mean those kind of floaty, kind of backing blankets, kind of a vocal bed, or some sort of sound that sits at the back of your mix that really is just there to kind of fill out some of the space and have some more kind of interesting sound going on in the background behind all of your other main instruments. I've got a couple of ways to show you how we're going to go about doing this, and the first one is going to involve using the fruity granulizer. So I've got a granulizer set up and I've got a vocal preloaded into it. I've then drawn in the MIDI into the piano roll, and let's have a quick listen to see what that sounds like.
Hold me close for a moment.
So we're only going to be using this first section of it. I could indeed extend this MIDI clip to be 8 bars, which would be the full 8-bar audio. But we're just going to be using the first bit for the time being, but sure, you can go ahead and use as much as or as little of it as you want, which can be controlled via the MIDI clip. So first of all, we're just going to press play and we're going to up the effects on the effects panel here, and we're going to start messing around with the random button.
Hold me close.
Start to sound pretty crazy already, kind of a bit weird. Let's go ahead and go to the granulizer spacing, and we're going to bring that down by a little bit. So that's kind of sped it up a little bit as well. And then we're going to go ahead and add some more attack. And that's kind of slowed down the way that the kind of effects are working on it and the spacing. And then let's go ahead and add some pan to that as well. Maybe a little bit more randomness. That's starting to sound really cool already. So it might sound a bit weird to your ears and you're thinking, well, what the hell am I going to do with this? Well, I've got it linked to the channel, and I'm going to add on the fruity Convolver. And then I'm going to go to the presets and I'm going to go to blur pink. Now let's have a listen to how this sounds. Sounding really cool indeed. We've just taken that single kind of sample and we've all of a sudden turned it into an amazing sounding vocal atmosphere. So I've got it in our track that we've been working on, and I've got the MIDI clip in here. I'm just gonna add on some sidechain to it. And let's have a listen, see how that sounds with the rest of the mix. Sounding really cool. And we can of course go ahead and we can use the piano roll, and we can change the MIDI, we can change the notes. So let's maybe see how that sounds. Just add in an extra one at the end. Sounding really nice. Straight away, that's created something completely different than what we had at the beginning. I'm just going to turn down that top note and the velocity a little bit. So that's one way of creating an atmosphere using a vocal sample. And this way I'm going to show you next is using a synth itself. So I have a ARP set up on the synth, and let's just have a quick listen to that. So pretty nice sound. It sounds all right at the moment. What I'm going to do is we're going to change and turn that into an audio clip. So I'm just going to right click and go consolidate this track from track start. So now, as you can see here, we've got our synth ARP, which has been changed into a audio clip. Now, I'm going to go onto our ARP channel, and I'm going to open up Edison. And I'm going to drag and drop that onto Edison. So now we have it playing through Edison, and what I'm going to do is a really, really cool tool. I'm going to simply click on this kind of teardrop icon here, which is the blur. And I've got the amount set to about 4,500, 4,700 milliseconds. We've got the mix all the way to 100%. I'm going to press accept. And now let's have a listen. That's turned it into a really cool, oversaturated with reverb, 100% kind of reverb sound. And you can still hear the ARP playing in the background. You've got the different notes. And then all I'm going to do is click and drag and put it into the project. Let's mute these two. And then let's link that back up to our ARP channel. I'm going to turn off Edison. Got some sidechain, small amount of EQ cutting off the top of the bottom, add some delay, just some standard delay, and some small reverb. And all of a sudden that has turned it into a very cool sounding ARP kind of atmosphere. Let's have a listen with the rest of the track. Sounding very cool. Let's add in our first atmosphere from before with the vocals. Sounding really nice indeed. Now we can go one step further, and I've got them all kind of pre-set up. You can do this trick with Edison on a lot of different sounds. I've got some vocals here which are from my track Push, and I've just loaded them into Edison. And they already have some reverb and delay on. So let's go ahead and add even more. We're going to hit the blur option. We've got the amounts and the mix already set up. And now let's drag and drop that into the project. And let's link that back up with its channel. It's going to turn off Edison. Let's have a listen to how that sounds. Sounding really cool indeed. Now, one last example. I've got some guitar, which is from one of my brand new tracks called High Rise. And let's have a listen to how that sounds. Very cool guitar sound. Now let's go ahead and do the exact same thing as we've just done. And then let's copy this over, and we're going to link that back up to our guitar. And let's go ahead and put some delay, some reverb, some EQ, which is just a low cut, and as an LFO tool. Sounding really nice indeed. So now we can go ahead and we can just bring all of these volumes down, and then we can mix them in as we see fit. Sounding really cool indeed. Like I said before, it's just creating that kind of blanket of sounds, that vocal beds, that bed of interesting sounds that are all doing different things that sit behind your kick and your bass and everything else that goes on the track. I use these in every single track I do. It really helps to just create that extra atmosphere rather than just having a very standard kick and bass. And if we listen to them all together. Really cool. A very interesting and very quick and easy way to create your own atmospheres that can be used on lots of different sounds. Using that blur tool on Edison is really fantastic. And again, when we use the fruity granulizer to really kind of mess up and play around with a pre-existing vocal sound to create something completely different.
Thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate all the support from you guys. If you love this video, then smash a like, and if you want to be notified about new videos, hit the subscribe and notification buttons. Peace!